Welcome to the Wrestling Podcast that latest a Smackdown. This is Malice Smack Talk. I am Masonic Vader, your host, coming live or recorded live from an actual pod. There you go. This is a special event, guys. It's a pod.
Wow,
in San
putting the
Francisco.
pod in podcast, aren't we?
Yes, sir. I'm laying the podcast down. Thank you very much. With me always, I have Mind Freak.
What's up, everybody? Here, let's drop some elbows.
Yeah, this is going to be a great podcast.
It is.
Yes. And then, of course, the bearded one, Marty.
How's it going? Now that the Masonic Vader has checked into the Smackdown Hotel, it's time to get this rolling.
God, I hope it's the real Smackdown Hotel because there's been some variations of that song I don't want to be in. Yeah. I can tell you that if you've never been in a pod before, it's actually quite spacious, but at the same time, quite confining. I can't explain it. And I think by the end of the weekend, I'm probably going to lose 20 pounds just by sweating. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this is going to be good times. Anyways, so welcome to the podcast. Before we get things started, I just want to take a second to thank Malice Corp, Malice-Corp for letting us to do our thing every week. We're sorry we missed you for a couple weeks, but these guys are always got our back. Check out the website at Malice-Corp. On there, you'll be able to find links to all the other podcasts, including the main one that's happening tomorrow night at 8 p.m., which, well, in your case, we've already missed it. So Friday nights at 8 o'clock on Twitch. Check us out. It's a great cast. Then, of course, check out all the other ones like Quest for 100, Nerd Mosh Pit, just a bunch of stuff. You guys are going to enjoy it. And thank you very much for Malice Corp. And then I'm also going to apologize in advance because this is happening from my phone, not my computer, not my pad, but my phone. So that's why I have the dorky earphones on. That's why there's going to be crazy back angles going all night. And that's why Marty's going to be running the show, and I'm going to be giving comedy relief from the pod.
Man,
So,
I
I'm gonna
feel like
hand
I
this
should have got you a picture of myself, gotten Derek a gold Rolex, giving you a picture of myself a la Rock, Farouk, and Nation Domination, and The Rock stepping up and taking the spotlight. Just saying. Should have got you a picture to send this, man.
Man, I feel like D'Lo Brown all of a sudden. Come on now, take it easy. But all right, so let's Marty's going to be helping me out tonight. I usually host, but tonight's a little bit different for me. So Marty's going to help us out with what we're going to be talking about tonight, and we're going to throw in the 2 cents. Feel free to always make sure that when you watch us on YouTube to like us, subscribe to us. Also put comments in there as please, because we love reading the stuff you guys give us, and we take all the suggestions and try to roll with it as much as we can. And once again, thank you so much. So Marty, why don't you take over for us and let us know what's going on tonight.
Getting ready to seize your first opportunity to come into the ring and start grandstanding and hot dogging, yeah!
I can't help it that I look good, smell good, woo, can dance all night long.
When we speak, our voices are heard. We all say, I bring it.
Oh, man, I feel like Michael Cole's finally taking a sick day, and the better talent of Corey Graves has stepped in to fill shoes.
You just went full Saxton, sir. Full Saxton.
Hey. You're the call-in tonight, literally. So
Wow,
you don't get to say
in. Look
anything.
at that.
Wow. So wait, I feel like this is wait. This is like Hyper Pit, and someone's making a call, and I'm supposed to be over the phone. Oh yeah, this is Hogan here, brother. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend here down at the Cow Palace. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned him calling it in and phoning it in, because it's no different than phoning it in every other week when we do a podcast. So good job there. Hopefully you have some content to go in with that pod. So let's start this off.
I know I've got more hair. Oh, moving on.
Hey, I'm bald and I'm proud. Move on.
You know who else is bald and proud? You know who else is? Your
The
good
Rock.
old boy. No, not the Rock. The your good old boys, the no flips, real wrestlers.
Oh my! Oh, your favorite tag team. Don't you have a shirt of theirs? That's awesome.
I believe I do. And you know what? You have a shirt from a loss as well. and we'll get into this a little bit later because you have a shirt of Carmella, and Carmella is on fire right now. Just
Oh,
saying. Just throwing it
dude.
out there right now. Hey,
We'll
hold
get
on.
to
You know
that.
what? Before we get it started, 7-second dance break. Let's go. Boom. No. Okay.
I was
There you go.
dying. I know we'll get to that. I was dying that whole segment.
Oh man, it's fantastic. So now that we're talking about losses and T-shirts, we haven't had a show in a couple weeks. We apologize for that delay. When we are back, we're going to hit all cylinders, and we're going to talk about a little bit what we've done in the past. And if you don't know, 2 weeks ago we had the WWE Superstar Showdown down in Melbourne, Australia. To me, I thought it was a pretty decent card, not too bad. We did have our picks that we made on our pre-show, our prediction show that is on Twitch.tv. As well as all our other channels. So we had a show. We had looks like a tie for last place. There's only 3 of us, so that means one of us held high as the winner. We'll get to that in a moment. But the losers got 4 losses. Managed to get 6 wins, 4 losses. Sonic Vader, Mind Freak, would you like to explain yourselves?
That's actually a D, which means it's a passing grade. I haven't failed yet.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a
But
tie.
I will take credit in saying I did call the homers. Let me tell you, they gave the homers. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, and of course 205 Live's new champ. So Buddy Murphy. So at least I called the homers.
You did. I myself was actually surprised that they gave it to the Iconics. Man, yeah, you called that one. I really thought they were going to make them lose since they made Buddy win, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the picks go, I myself stood up top 7-2, and you guys came in second and third place, tied at 6 and 4.
7-3? How do you have 9? Yeah, you check. Yeah.
Wow.
Did I get that
Someone
wrong?
needs to check that score again, dude.
It was 9 matches, and we're at 6 and 4 for 10 matches.
Wow, Marty, I think the fix is in, buddy.
Recount.
My bad. Yeah, we definitely got. You know what?
So it was by one match.
By one match. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that one. It's been a late night. Let's just go with that.
Nice.
Overall, though, what did you guys think about the card and the show in general?
I actually thought it was okay. Once again, I did call the main event was going to be Triple H and Undertaker, and I hate to admit it, man. I hate to say I told you so, but man, Undertaker's gas tank is not where it used to be, man. It was a little rough at the end.
Really? Because I thought that he did a pretty damn good job, and I
Yeah.
actually was kind of entertained by the Undertaker in this match.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Once again, it's coming off the fact that we've lived and grown up with these guys, and obviously not the quality that we're used to seeing them on. And I get it. He's old. They're both old. They're not hitting the ring all the time. It was good to see it. I can't believe they're going to push it forward to another pay-per-view later on with DX versus the Brothers. But I mean, all in all, the pay-per-view for me was fun. I liked the matches. I liked the fact that they did give it to the homers. Man, the pops were awesome, especially Buddy Murphy. The Iconics was just kind of like a fun one to give away. So all in all, it was a pretty decent show. I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it was. I had fun.
Yeah, overall,
Freak.
I enjoyed it. I mean, there were some like lulls and stuff like that, but I mean, with what we call what was going to pop, what wasn't. And for what it was for something out of the U.S. and them flying out for was it, like a 20-hour flight or something like that, I thought it was pretty good. Not the best. I mean, there's been some other pay-per-views this year that have been better, but then this one was better than a couple of them. Not to name them, but we all know which ones. But just overall, I enjoyed it. Nice watching. I was trying to like keep a freeze out, like not check Instagram or Twitter or anything, just to see what happened, so I could watch it without getting any spoilers or anything like that. So that was the only part that was a little tough.
So did you guys, either one of you guys, watch it live, or did you guys wait till it was on later?
I was in bed, dude. I had to work.
Yeah, no, I wasn't waking up for that, man. I saw it the next day.
All right,
I,
all
it,
right. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I watched it live, but
I thought about it, but I was just like, honestly, man, I wasn't too stoked about the matches in general. I already told you about Triple H and how I felt about that, but as a whole, if it was SummerSlam, if it was one of the major pay-per-views, I probably would have watched it live. But because it was just one of those in betweens and them trying to establish it, I kind of knew what would come from it at least, and I knew the pops were good. The Homer pops were good to see.
yeah. I mean, we talked about Undertaker, Triple H, and you talked about how he kind of was gassing out the end. And if you didn't realize this, the Undertaker match was damn near a 30-minute long match. I mean, yeah, I could see him gassing out. I mean, it was a 30-minute match. His last match at WrestleMania was a 2-minute 45-second match, and the match before that was a much longer. So I think the story they told was a great story. Well, I think we all went across the board and said Taker and Kane were going to get this win. Obviously, they didn't. But the turn at the end, I thought was fantastic. Was expecting the turn at some point, but no, I thought that was great. I think that I'm actually excited for this. I'm excited to see Shawn Michaels in the ring. I don't think he's going to be as rusty as expected. I think the fact that he's been working in the performance center for as long as he has been the last year and a half and training and with the new talent coming in and practicing with that, I think he's kind of broken the ring rust off a little bit. He's probably still going to have some because he hasn't gone full match. But I think he took some of them bumps that Taker, obviously brought him to a table. Thought it was a pretty decent match. I mean, there was a lot of good matches on the card. We saw John Cena come back. Obviously, he got the win. We all expect that to
Wait, wait,
happen.
wait. John Cena was there. I thought that was John Bradford. I thought that was JBL.
No, no, it wasn't JBL, but it was looking like a Terminator, Arnold
Wow.
Schwarzenegger.
That
Right.
JB that was a straight JBL haircut, and you know it.
So have you seen the picture that have side by side or the progression
Yeah, and that's
of John
what they're
Cena
saying right now. Is
turning
they're going to the
into
second half,
Undertaker?
so,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Terminator. It's
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
progressively turning into Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's fantastic.
I do go really quick. I do agree with you on the Shawn Michaels thing. I know he's not going to go full pre Bella though. He'll be a little rusty, but like you said, because he's been in the performance center, I think he's going to be much better. I think it's going to be an entertaining match.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
The one I
you,
would
you
say
keep
the
bring
one.
you keep bringing that up. That wasn't necessarily her fault all the way. But go
No,
on.
not
Wait,
hold
no,
on.
no.
But
I'm
not
not
the
talking
Liv
about the
Morgan
kick.
one, but the ones the 2 weeks prior were her
Yeah,
faults.
I know.
Oh
The ones
yeah,
before that, they were. Though
the
if you're referring to
stage
the Liv
this
Morgan one, that wasn't her.
no,
No, that
The
I'm
other
wasn't.
two,
I'm
yes,
referring
I
to
will agree with that.
yeah, I'm referring to the one where she jumps out of the ring and all of a sudden it seemed like gravity just yanked her down. That was
Yeah.
like I think Isaac Newton was there looking at an apple falling from a tree or something. That was horrible.
Yep. Absolutely. So, there was one
So
match that had a big kind of outcome on it, and as far as what's going to go forward. Get your guys' thoughts on Daniel Bryan and The Miz and the number one contendership match. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
So
I my freak, you go for
Yep.
it first, buddy. Go for it.
you started.
Mind free, go for it, bro.
All right. So overall, with that match, with the outcome of it, I mean, it was like we talked about. I mean, there could have been a couple different outcomes. It could have been the Miz and AJ, or the Miz and Samoa Joe, but we necessarily really talked much about Daniel Bryan and AJ as much as them two fighting for the title. And overall, with this one, given they're past the independent scene and all this kind of stuff and what they're able to do in the ring, I'm actually excited for this match just to see what those two guys will be able to do together because both are, pardon the pun, phenomenal performers. But as far as the story goes, I mean, I know we've been saying it. I mean, I'm an AJ fan. I'm not denying it, but I mean, it's close to a year. So we said, all right, is he going to drop it to Rusev? No. Okay, well, he's going to drop it to Samoa Joe. No. Okay, well, is he going to drop it to Daniel Bryan? And if he does, is that further going to progress the Miz and Daniel Bryan? Because on Miz TV a couple weeks ago, he's like, I don't care what happens, I have next at the title. So we'll kind of see the outcome of that, where it goes with it. Either way, it's going to be good.
Now I
Vader.
do have to, I have to apologize. Apparently, I'm having technical difficulties. So you've got the mean looking Vader freeze, or maybe it's just my picture. I have no idea.
It's calling. It's okay.
So yeah, there you go. It's a high quality small podcast. Um, I do. I want AJ Styles to lose the belt. And the only reason why I want him to lose the belt is because I really do think they need to put somebody else in that place. I know we're going to talk about SmackDown 1000 here in a minute, but I'm really I'm happy to see Daniel Bryan in the championship match because, like they've mentioned before, just like Finn Balor, he's never lost his titles. He's only lost them because of injury. So it's good that they're getting him in the picture, especially because, with guys coming back with such injuries like that they are, their shelf life is going to be very, very limited. So it's good that they're getting them in the title run. I guess it would be better to see him against AJ Smith. AJ Styles, just because of the fact that I think it would be better for him to handle. Samoa Joe, I think, would be a little much for him, but at the same time, I really want to see Samoa Joe win. So I'm excited for Daniel Bryan, and it's not Miz isn't done either because Miz is still the Miz. He's one of the best heels that they have, and it'll be interesting. It'll probably end up turning into a three-way match, just because that's how WWE goes sometimes.
Yeah, I can see this becoming a much bigger match. I think that Daniel Bryan's going to be the one that wins this belt and takes it off of AJ Styles, and the fact that by having him do it in Saudi Arabia, I think it's going to get a major pop out there. But this is going to take us through the rest of the winter. We've been talking how Daniel Bryan, The Miz, could potentially be that feud that gets us through the fall, the winter, and into WrestleMania season. I think you add AJ and Samoa Joe into it, and it becomes a much bigger storyline, a much bigger feud between the different back and forth. You can go with all four of those guys. You have, if Daniel Bryan wins it, he has a title. AJ is trying to get his title back, and then you have Samoa Joe and The Miz, who are trying to vie for their point of getting that title shot, and they both feel that they should have a title shot or even carry that title. So I think you put all four of those guys in a promo together. One, it's gonna be fantastic on the mic, but then you put those four guys together, and you have a homegrown guy like The Miz versus three indie babies and darlings between Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan. So I think between the wrestling, obviously I think The Miz lacks the other three have, whereas on the mic he excels what the three of them don't have. So I think that it could be a great storyline. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. But we'll get into this towards our prediction show once the crown jewel comes around. But I think that's going to be an interesting storyline what happens there. There really wasn't. All the other matches. There were some solid matches. Was there any matches you could shout out to you guys that you guys want to talk about or discuss at all?
I was a little disappointed with the Becky Lynch and Charlotte match, how it ended. They shouldn't be. I'm happy that she still has a belt, but they shouldn't be doing Becky Lynch that way. They should allow her to have this mean streak, but actually pull off the wins. I think there would have been more credibility to her being champ if they actually let her win versus, oh, let me hit her with the belt and run out the door kind of thing. So it does bring a lot of heat, which is good. So we'll be talking about next week, I'm sure, with our Evolution cast. But all in all, I was kind of bummed about that ending. I really wanted a clear winner, regardless of who did, and just continue pushing that through Evolution.
Yeah, Mindfreak, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed too in how it ended, but then what's been leading up to, and especially what was announced last week too, that they're going to have the first Iron Woman match, which could be pretty good. We've seen some other Iron matches, but again, it's I like Charlotte, I like Becky a lot more, but when you have a lot of these, especially in the last year, 2 years, when you have these big milestone women's matches, Charlotte in some point has been part of a good amount of them, especially the first Hell in a Cell match and all that stuff. So going into the first Iron Woman match, I get the idea, trying to build it up some, but ultimately
Becky, not the first Iron Woman match. Am I correct, you?
Yeah, it's the second one actually, or third one. I apologize, third one.
Yeah,
Sasha.
first, but
on SmackDown. That the first real one was on Raw between Sasha and Charlotte.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And the first women's in WWE was, a year and a half prior to that was Sasha and Bailey on NXT. So, and that was obviously that was one that like tore the house down and stole the show.
Dude, that was match of the year contender. Yeah,
absolutely. I thought, it was one of those matches we've talked about in the past where it's one of those matches that is a great match. They had, obviously, the two of them have great and amazing chemistry together. They are extremely great performers, and they do a well job in the ring. I see your point as far as them, so to speak, doing Becky dirty by having her win that way. And I didn't like the way she won either. I wanted Becky to win. I wanted her to win clean, especially if it puts Charlotte down a little bit. But I'm not against the way they had her win, though, due to the fact that they were doing everything possible to make her come off as a just full-blown heel. And that was the right decision. It was, like you said, it's going to give them heat on the match. Obviously, nothing they're going to throw at her is going to give her any heat, so to speak, from heel, because the fans love it the more and more they give it. If you look on the opposite side, here it comes. As much as they throw in our way to try to make Roman the babyface, they're doing the exact opposite. Do with Becky Lynch and making her the heel. It's not coming off either way. But yeah, no, it would have been nice to see it, but I can understand why they did it, and the storyline's progressing. And I've been in tune with this feud, and I think it's going a great way. There's one other thing.
Really quick, I might have to talk a little bit lower because apparently my neighbor upstairs showed up. So, yeah, good times. Keep going.
We got Masonic Vader on the whisper mic, so we got that. So that's our recap for Superstar Showdown in Melbourne, Australia. There was one outcome that came out of Superstar Showdown. I don't know if you guys saw this at all, but it's kind of going to lead into our news for the week. We have a top superstar that's on the shelf now for up to 6 months. If you guys didn't see this, Kevin Owens had double knee surgery this last week.
Oh yeah. He posted those pictures a couple days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So after his commitment to the Showdown, he had a surgery and looking like he's going to be gone for 6 months. So that's I think it's a big blow.
Yeah, from what I remember reading about it, he was only going in for one, and he ended up getting 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks too because Kevin Owens, I think, was we're starting to find a niche for him again, and I've always liked Kevin Owens as a performer, as far as like his persona and stuff, especially when they find the right thing. But now, man, he's on the shelf, man, for 6 months, if not longer, depending on the severity or the recovery time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and here's my thoughts on. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Vader.
Oh, yeah. I think it was probably going to be your same thoughts because I know it was like a month or so ago. We're talking, when he quit and all that stuff. It's just like, all right, is he quitting? Is it just WWE making him say he's quitting to kind of rebrand him and stuff like that? So if he's going to be gone for 6 months, it'll be good, to kind of, he'll be off, he'll be at home recovering. Obviously, wish him the best of luck and speedy recovering, all that stuff. Because I enjoy Kevin Owens as well. But I think at the same time, too, this is a way for WWE to kind of think, all right, what can we do with him? How can we rebrand him as KO? What can we do to, help him shoot back up to where he was about a year and a half ago?
Yeah. Same story, same point. We were looking at a month and a half ago. It's like, okay, he's quitting, and all of a sudden he's back the next week. It's like, what was the point of that? And these weren't injury related. I mean, they might have been a little bit, but these were scheduled surgeries to go in and repair work, Mm-hmm. So my thoughts are, same thing. Like, they knew it was going to happen, but it was like, we need to have you in Melbourne or whatever it may be. The fans are wanting to see you down there. We need to have you on that card. Let's bring you back, and we'll let you go out your repair injury vacation, so to speak, and after the show. And I think that's exactly what they've done. And if we look at that, Royal Rumble is 4 months away, maybe pushing close to 5. They're saying up to 6 months. If he does it well, I don't see Kevin Owens being that guy. He gets in the ring or gets in the rehab and PT and tries to come back earlier than expected. But he could make a strong effort to try to come back in and make something happen in Royal Rumble. But I hope they keep it a secret when he does return, because Kevin Owens coming back, his music hitting, can be an absolute amazing pop. So, but that's going to one piece of news. Another news. This today was announced by WWE and superstars across the board. The WWE signed Chelsea Green to the WWE NXT brand, and she's reporting to the Performance Center. I know she's been posting online for a couple weeks now that she's had a tryout like almost a month ago. This is great. She's a great talent out there. She's bringing other stars in. People. She's got a fan base. She's obviously in a relationship with Zack Ryder, so whatever that might be, obviously she's got that built-in following there. They brought Deanna Purrazzo, Tony Storm, so they're really going out there and bringing these stars in. That's going to help revitalize the NXT Women's brand, and I think it's fantastic. Especially we get to see them all at Evolution next week. Other than that, have you guys heard any other news that you guys want to throw in there?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I mean there is some news that we can, but we're trying to hold off on talking about the Evolution. I mean, not Evolution, the Mae Young Classic. If you have kept up to it, there's been some injuries that have happened recently. Unfortunately, one in particular, just throw it out there, Taylor Knox. She missed the Mae Young Classic last year because of injury to her right knee. And unfortunately, she suffered an injury to her good knee during the Mae Young Classic. So really sucks there because there was a lot of good talent happening there. I was really excited to see her get in there. She's going to be part of the future of the women's evolution as they move things forward. But that was something that happened during the Classic, which I know I'm jumping the gun, but that's something I wanted to throw in there for a second, just because that's sucky news. And I mean, other than that, there is some stuff about the crown jewel. Is it going to continue to happen or whatnot? I mean, trying to keep it not political here and stuff. We try to keep things on the even, but obviously there's a lot of things going on right now in Saudi Arabia to a point where crown jewel might not happen. The good thing is crown jewel's only a couple matches deep right now. They've got plenty of time to finish it up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, right now we've got the three-way championship, and then I believe we have what was the other match? I think it's the ladies'
the World
match,
Cup.
Oh, the World Cup, yeah. Which
that was it.
Later on, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There's a possibility that crown jewel might not happen.
And from what I heard with that, and just to briefly touch on it, from what I heard, if for whatever reason it does get canceled, the triple threat match will get moved to Survivor Series, and then they'll do the World Cup at a later date.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. WWE, and this is what I don't understand. They signed a phenomenal contract with Fox, or they don't need the money, but now they've signed a contract with Saudi Arabia to do 10 shows there. And so that's what the thing's going on. But now with the outside interference, if you want to call it that, going on, they might not be able to perform that contract after all, which to me perfectly I'm fine with, because part of the contract is that you don't get to see the full roster. You don't get to see the women wrestle. Like before, I was watching wrestling to see the guys perform some crazy stuff and then see the valets, but now it's complete opposite. Now the women are actually putting in the better matches a lot of the times, and I want to see those matches. I thoroughly enjoy watching them because of the fact that they put more. To me, it sometimes seems like the women put more heart and soul into the matches than the men do.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one. So that's going to kind of end our news segment for the day and for the week. We can kind of go into this week's shows. If you're watching WWE this week, there hasn't been too much really going on as far as like content on the wrestling side. Raw has kind of just been recapping and rehashing the same storylines for the last few months. The biggest things that basically covered Raw were going to be the Shield and Dogs of War, which we saw the interaction between them, one-on-ones, and then the 6-man tag at the end of the show. There was a couple things. I would say the two biggest things. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just to make it quick, with Raw and stuff like that. The other thing I found interesting, like you mentioned, the rehashing the hashtag at the end of Raw, you had Drew McIntyre leaving the ring without his belt, without Dolph. So I don't know, sure if they're setting something up with that, if they're going to split them up and give Drew his push. I don't know, but we'll see what happens later on down the road. That was just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned that, but then you also have Dean Ambrose walk off on his own. So they're kind of building a storyline of who's going to turn, and that's kind of where they're going down. Because everyone's thinking it's going to be Dean Ambrose, and everyone's hoping that it's not. Everyone's thinking that it could be Drew McIntyre, and I would say most people are hoping that it is, because then it puts Drew McIntyre away from that tag team and basically lets him have that solo run, which I think that he'd be an amazing talent to go with the solo run. I'd rather see him than see like Braun Strowman or back, going for that title again. But yeah, I mean, I would say like the biggest storyline from the men's side would be the fact that we have that storyline between them and who's going to leave. I really hope that Dean Ambrose doesn't go and something gets cleared out. I feel like then this may be a work for the three of them to make Dogs of War think that Dean Ambrose is on the verge of busting and taking off. And then they come back in at this match they're going to have at Crown Jewel, or not Crown Jewel. When they eventually get to that point where they have the six of them in a big match.
Survivor Series with
coming down the line, and I think that they're going to show the three of them are stronger than ever, and I think that's what it comes down to. Vader, do you have any thoughts on the two between Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, I'm not digging the thing what they're doing with Dean Ambrose right now. I really don't like it. The Shield has proven that they can go as a team and also solo. I don't think you need to dismember the Shield because of the fact that they just don't need to be together, and I don't think you need to fracture it the way they do. Like you said, I'm a big fan of seeing Drew McIntyre go solo. It's great that he gave him a championship belt to start off with, but I'm done with it. I mean, Dolph Ziggler should have another tag team partner. I think they should really cut the reins with Drew McIntyre and really get him into the belt. I mean, he's done nothing but solid stuff since he's come back to the WWE, and barring an injury that set him out for a little bit, that's what WWE needs right now, especially because Brock Lesnar is about to cut because of the fact he does have his championship, or he has his UFC match here pretty soon, and depending on how good that comes out, who knows if we'll see him as much. So I'd rather see someone like a Drew McIntyre who will give you night in and night out quality matches, quality mic skills, and is deserving of getting a belt around his waist.
Yep, absolutely agree. I would say the two biggest promos from the night are surrounding the women and Evolution. Essentially, we had the one with Ronda Rousey and the Bellas, and that goes to last week, and kind of goes back to Superstar Showdown, how we talked about the Bellas were essentially going to end up turning on Ronda. We didn't get it at the Showdown, but we got it the next night on Monday Night Raw. They had, to start the promo off, I thought that Ronda looked really weak on the mic, but as it progressed, once the Bellas came out, whether it was a light switch went off or a fire lit up under her ass, but she actually may not have cared for the content of it all, but her promos came off a lot smoother, a lot clearer, and it went and gave a point compared with that promo from her started off at first. So I'm just like, a whiny girl out there crying and complaining and just like begging for help and for them to come out. And then all of a sudden it turned into a promo. I was like, okay, now I can listen. And the Bellas game.
I was about to say, it goes to what we've said about Ronda Rousey. Get her away from coming out smiling and saying thank you for cheering for me and stuff. I get it. You're very appreciative of what you have now, but now you take that off. Like the first part of it, she was just talking about, oh my gosh, why did you turn me? When she let out the gloves and started talking smack, that's when come on now. Your men's names.
It's even when it goes back to like almost any time she come out, it's like it's all smiles. Then that's all it is.
She's Byron Saxon in it. I'm just saying. If you watch Byron Saxon on the table, anytime that Corey starts shooting off at him, he gets this like bitter, like, oh, you make fun of me, okay, and then also it's like smiles. It's like, what?
Really?
Like,
come on, yeah.
Like,
I will say she did have the good one-liner where she was like, the only doors you opened were the bedroom doors to your men's. And then
Which
John and
brings me
Cena closed one.
to my next point of that. Here we are talking about the evolution, the women's revolution. We're going to have this all women's pay-per-view. We're getting away from the fact that women have been sexualized in the wrestling industry, and women are here for their talent and their skill. But the face of the Monday Night Raw, and essentially the face of WWE, is going to come out and basically say that the only reason why you're relevant is because of your men, and sexualize the fact that they were with John Cena and Nikki and Daniel Bryan. And for me personally, I felt that kind of defeated the purpose. It kind of went against what they've been trying to build up.
No.
I
See,
didn't agree with it.
No, you're looking at it the wrong way, because the way she did it was perfect. She isolated them as the remnants or leftovers of the diva movement and what the diva movement stand for, because that's what it was. The diva championship was not the women's championship. They still glorified them as I don't want to say valets, but they were definitely not where the women are now. So they
None of them?
they were definitely
Really?
more.
None of them?
Huh?
None of them were?
Well, you mean how they are? No, not
I'm
all
saying
of them were like that.
they may have been called the divas at the time, but we had one of the best women's champions, whether it was a divas title or a women's title, it doesn't matter. AJ Lee was one of the best wrestlers that we've seen in years. And given she may not be a Charlotte Flair, but she was much better than a lot of the talent before her, which it was a women's title, and then it got switched to divas. I get what you're saying. Yeah, she's the leftovers, but so is Natalya. And I mean, I'm just saying, like, her best friend, her sidekick, the member of that divas division, is a member of who's there because of her family as well. Who
do me a favor
with her husband.
Yeah, but hear me out on this. When you think divas title, what do you really think about what women wrestling is like now? I'm not shooting them down. There's a hell of a lot of wrestlers there. I'm really hoping that we get to see Melina coming out. Michelle McCool. There were some good wrestlers, but unfortunately, it's not the wrestlers that you got to complain about as much as who was running the show. And you had all this quality talent with the Divas Championship, but they also put too much into their looks as well and too much of the show. And now you've got, and AJ Lee, I think, finally broke the glass on it to where it opened it up and it made it to where, hey, what the hell are we doing wrong here? They're still great looking, but we don't need to focus on looks. They've got the talent for it now. And that's when they decided to change it to the women's championship when you got the 4 horsewomen to finally solidify everything. So I think that's where she went with it, because if you really think about it, back when the Diva Championship first came around, man, no one cared, and they were doing more stupid. They weren't doing the stupid pudding wrestling matches as much anymore, but they definitely weren't doing what they're doing now. And I think that's ultimately what she was punching at.
It was that may have been what her underlying statements were, but it wasn't. She could have easily got the same effect just by going after them and the wrestling talent. The fact they lack any talent. I'm not saying they do, because I think that Nikki Bella actually does really well in the ring. Maybe not Brie Bella, but Nikki Bella, I feel, is a pretty damn good talent. Obviously, people are going to say that she's not, because she came around from the Divas and her brand and her looks and stuff like that. But Nikki Bella can perform, and she has for the last 2 years that she was wrestling before she got injured. But she could.
She also made a comment about stealing their the guys' skill set moves though too, which is true. They have done that.
Brie has, not so much Nikki, but I mean, she could have got the same effects by just talking about the wrestling, the fact that they may not have any talent or stuff like
that.
But she went the route of, you're here because of the men you slept with. That's basically the same thing as going against and saying that when you're trying to build this evolution that women are strong and all this and that. I just feel like that angle could have been more effective by doing it a different way. Got the same effect, but kind of gone a different path. And I feel like the way you did it just kind of took a couple steps back in my eyes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see. I see what you're saying. You definitely see it from both sides. I mean, I see what you're saying, and I definitely see where Ronda's coming from on it too. once again, I'm going to pull out I've been watching it for too many years kind of thing, but I thoroughly do enjoy watching the women wrestle now because of the fact they're actually wrestling, that they're actually doing things. They're,
Oh, absolutely.
you got Charlotte Flair doing flips and everything, jumping off and off the top rope and everything. I mean, that's stuff you wouldn't see even 5-10 years ago during the Diva Revolution. There was only Lita doing the moonsault and a couple other things. They weren't jumping, doing corkscrews outside and everything like that. So
yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll try to get some more stuff done and kind of narrow down a little bit. I know that some of these batteries are kind of going down a little bit.
Yep.
So let's
wait. Let's make sure we're it's not the personal battery as much as it's this crappy cell phone battery. Thank you very much.
Got it.
And you know what? I'm going to go and say it. It's this. See, it's plugged in. It's into this stupid pod, and it's all the way in, and it's just not keeping the charge. So I'm blaming the pod.
Fair enough. There was
standing ovation. Wonderful pods, wonderful.
The pod of sleep I will be sleeping in tonight. There you go.
Oh, why didn't we think about that sooner, man? Dang it. It's the pod of wrestling.
Oh man, there you go. Light bulb.
Glorious.
So this week was a pretty monumental week for WWE and its second brand. Smackdown Live obviously had its 1,000th episode on Tuesday night. Basically wasn't really much of a show, with the exception of bringing people back and showing them who's there and having their moments, kind of like they've done with Raw. And every time they've always had a reunion show, kind of so to speak. With this show, we had some people come back. Obviously, we started off with the McMahons, which we saw Vince McMahon show up. And I don't care what anyone says. Anytime that Vinnie Mac shows up, it's a great time. I love seeing the guy in the ring. Shane O'Mac came back, been gone. I would say he's been gone since before WrestleMania, right? Was he at WrestleMania?
He's been gone for a while.
No, he was.
Yeah.
He was at WrestleMania this year because he fought with Daniel Bryan. So he was at WrestleMania.
And then he introduced Paige as the GM, and that was pretty much it.
Correct. So obviously that we saw, they made their appearance on Truth TV, or the second episode we've gotten of Truth TV, which is fantastic. And I'm just gonna throw it out there. If Carmella could quit wrestling and just come out there and do a show with R-Truth and rock that dress, I'm on board.
I am too.
Wow. So we just got done talking about women's evolution, and you just threw it back to before the Divas.
I did.
That was straight. That was straight
thing.
Francine ECW level, man. Come on.
Here's where I go with that. I'm not trying to sexualize women's wrestling. We all agree that Carmella is not the greatest wrestler on the brand. So by letting her do the mic stuff, which she's fantastic at, just calling it how I see it.
And not to mention, it was Vince who threw up the second part of the 7-second dance party, which I just died when he's like dance break. I was just like, I was done. I was on the floor laughing, dying, dude.
And we can't say she's there because the men she was with, are no longer there. So hey, it is what it is.
Good point.
But we also saw the return of Edge, coming back and doing the cutting edge with Becky. We saw Evolution return.
Oh, dude,
man, that was fantastic. And here's the thing: we had the cutting edge and with Evolution, and both of them had some heat to them. We talked about Ronda giving her lines to the Bellas, but hey, Edge, why don't you get out of the ring, and when you do, make sure you don't hurt yourself and injure your neck again. Just like, wow, Becky just retired your ass again, and I like it.
I'm with it.
And the Evolution. So we saw Ric Flair, Batista, which I was surprised to actually see Batista there.
Right.
Triple H and Randy Orton. I'm gonna withhold my thoughts on it. Mind Freak, what were your thoughts on Evolution being there?
So it kind of goes back to the week before when they've been hyping up, and then when they're like, yeah, Evolution will be here. I'm like, wait, what? Like everybody from Evolution, like even Batista. I was just like, awesome, let's go. And then just for me, because I was a fan of Batista growing up, whatnot. And then what he's done in Hollywood and all that stuff. Drax, he's awesome. But just the fact to see him in the ring again, but with Evolution, it was surreal. And the promo that he gave, the reason he did it, and all that stuff, and then just praising everybody. Randy Orton's done this, Ric Flair's done this, Triple H has done this, and all this stuff, except beat me. That there was just like that stare down. I was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
hard for me to put into words.
we had Randy. Randy threw out his shade at Batista when he was giving his little quick promo. But yeah, Batista and Triple H, where Rick had to get in the middle and break them up, and it was like, okay, where's this leading to? Because we've already seen that and seen the rumors that Batista wants to come back and Batista wants a match with Triple H. Given we've gotten these teasers with Hunter before, obviously with The Rock, and we're still waiting on that from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe 4 years ago this month was when we got that. I think the Batista and the Triple H thing is more likely to come to fruition than The Rock and Triple H. I would see that match. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
I actually thought that Randy was going to come out and Hunter was going to look at him like, do it. And he was going to RKO Batista out of nowhere. We had, because if you remember back, the Evolution kind of basically ended the night after that Randy won the title for the first time. And Hunter gave
thumbs down.
And Batista bombed in the middle of the ring. So I thought I would have been like full circle to see Triple H look back at Randy, like, do it. And then all of a sudden, Batista turns around with the mic and boom, RKO. And hell, that could have ended the show for all I care. Vader, do you have any thoughts on Evolution?
It was nice seeing him out there. I'm hoping that they do bring my camera's back. I hope they do bring the Batista Triple H match back. That's what I wouldn't mind watching to see. They did perfect heat for it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they move with it. I got a little nervous though, man. If you guys didn't notice that when they were first coming in, how very slow Ric Flair was getting into the ring. Unfortunately, he's not a spring chicken. We know that, but now I think you're starting to see to the point that he's getting to that age, and I don't want to hear about the news. There was already a wrestler that passed away this week, so it was nice to see them all together. But I'm hoping that we don't. That's not the last time we get to see them all together.
Yeah, because if you look at it, when he got in the ring, he was doing his woo woo and his shimmy and shake, but yeah, when he was walking down and kind of doing his thing, is like very reminiscent of starting to see the last times we saw Bruno come into the ring. And look at the last time Bruno was in the ring, and we lost him not much later after that. So I don't think that's gonna come anytime soon. I hope not. Obviously, Ric Flair's a legend and arguably the greatest wrestler to ever grace the four corners. But no, I was excited to see them. I was always a fan of Evolution. I'm not gonna lie, Ric Flair's never been one of my favorites. It's one of those where I respect the talent, not necessarily the role. Just because I was always I like Dusty Rhodes, and other kind of things like that. But obviously, I'm a big Randy Orton fan. I'm a big Triple H fan, and I'm a pretty decent Batista fan. So seeing the four of them and what what Evolution did, I thought the faction itself was fantastic. So it was great seeing them all in the ring. Like I said, I do hope that we do see this Batista and Triple H feud pop up sometime. I think that'd be more entertaining than Triple H and Undertaker.
Yes, absolutely.
So we saw Rey Mysterio come back. Obviously, that was a big comeback. He beat Shinsuke Nakamura, and he's taking the match for part of the World Cup qualifying and moving into that
the
match.
World Cup, which has mostly American wrestlers.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
there, and we'll try to make this really quick. Tag team titles.
Yeah.
We got exactly what we said we didn't want, and that's quick thoughts on that real quick.
The only thing I have to say is why is Big Show coming out and helping them get the title? That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward with that.
Yeah,
And
what's
my
up with these
thoughts
three-man
on
factions?
No, well, I'm cool with that. I'm hoping that never know, we might get some 6-man tag team belts in there to compete with the rest of the organizations out there. I don't know, but I'm actually hoping that what this does is it's going to give them an opportunity to separate Big E and let him have a feud with Big Show. Hopefully, progress him into a singles. It may still, we talk about how the Shield don't need to be in the faction at all times, can still one off and do their own thing. I think we can still see that with the New Day. Keep the New Day together, but they can still do their one-off matches. And I think this could be the great opportunity to get the New Day or get Big E into that main spotlight. Big Show, Rusev makes his way, off past that. Samoa Joe. I mean, he's a guy who can compete with all these guys, and I think this could be our starting point to see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, I mean, obviously we got another title change, the Bar. We're going to end up seeing them fight again. It's a round robin.
At least it wasn't the Revival.
Thank God.
Right.
We're going to, there's two more things we're going to talk about before we get out of here tonight. There was obviously an absence of talent and superstars who are known and are synonymous with SmackDown and the Blue brand.
Hell, one of them started the damn brand.
That is true. So we got a tweet, we got a video message, and we got a complete null and void. And those three talents: John Cena, The Rock, and Chris Jericho. I will leave this open forum for you guys, and we'll kind of see what you guys want to talk about. Which one of those first, or your thoughts on the three of them not being around?
I was disappointed to not see The Rock because Rock started the show. I mean, that was his whole thing. I understood why Chris Jericho wasn't going to be there because he's got a lot of stuff going on right now himself. I was hoping to see a lot more people coming back. I was really The Rock, because The Rock is the foundation of the SmackDown. He came up with the phrase, they moved with it. He built the show initially. So to not see him there was disappointing, understandable, but at the same time disappointing. I'm sure he could have figured out a way to be able to come out.
Agree. I mean, yeah, and the fact that we just got a tweet that they read online, I thought it was kind of weak. The fact that it is The Rock. I know he's filming movies and doing whatever he's got to be doing. But man, I mean, he wasn't at Raw 25. He wasn't at WrestleMania. He talks about how he wants to come back, but yeah, he's not there. And these are a one-time showing up for a one-day thing. It's not like you can't just pay for a flight and show up. It's the freaking Rock.
It's expensive though, man. Have you ever seen first class tickets, man? It's pretty rough.
Oh, first class? We talking about? It's private jet, man. We talking about?
Yeah.
But then John Cena. John Cena, we've barely seen him. We've seen him once in the last 8 months, 6 months, because he was at the Greatest Royal Rumble. But I know he's filming movies. I know he's doing his thing. But it's like, dude, come on. You sent a video promo. It just would have been nice for him to show up and be there. I mean, after The Rock left, at least the Undertaker showed up. I mean, the three biggest guys to run SmackDown essentially over the last 20 years: The Rock, Undertaker, John Cena. The only one that showed up was the Undertaker, even though it took him half the show to get to the ring to end the show out. To say the exact same thing he said the night before on Monday Night Raw. And it was like we waited 20 minutes for you to walk just to say that. Like, really? We watched that last night. Come on now, give us something different. And yeah, Chris Jericho, obviously he's got the Jericho Cruise coming up in the next couple of weeks. Knows what the relationship is there with Vince, the fact that he is the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Maybe that's some. I saw a tweet that he said he wasn't invited and nobody asked him to be there. If that's the case, maybe they are looking for him not to come back anytime soon because of what he's doing everywhere else. I mean, if you look at Chris Jericho, is possibly one of the big, as always has been, But as far as wrestling goes, he's one of the top wrestling and talents that's going on outside of WWE right now.
I mean, is that the Bucks of Jericho shirt you're wearing also?
Is it a Bucks of Jericho or is it Y2 Jackson?
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of what we ended up with that. That was SmackDown 1000. It was a great show as far as being able to see some of these talents come back and reminisce and watch people from the past.
And all that stuff.
Nostalgia. As all these shows ever are. As far as wrestling goes, we talked about the tag teams. It was great to see the Usos get a win over AJ and Daniel Bryan. A clean win at that.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that. So I'm happy that they didn't job the Usos out. I was afraid that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But before we get out of here, you guys have any other last thoughts or comments you want to make?
Well, I'd like to thank Malice Corp for allowing us to host the show as I'm coming to you live from the pod room that apparently you can't see now because my battery power sucks. But Malice Corp is where you want to go to see all of our podcasts from before. You can go to the link there and also see all the other shows. Remember to always check us out Friday nights, Malice Corp on Twitch at 8 p.m. It's Malice Corp. It's twitchtv.com / Malice Corp. Every Friday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you don't catch us there, you can obviously go and check us out on YouTube and Stitcher. But of course, make sure you check us out on not only YouTube, but also we're on iTunes and podcast.com. Make sure you like our stuff. Make sure you give us comments and let everyone know we're out there. We appreciate all of our new followers on Twitter. And once again, we do this for you guys. And thank you very much for checking us out tonight. There you go. I did my plug. Yeah.
Outstanding. Outside of Malice Corp and Mouse Smack Talk, where can we find you guys?
Vader.
Well, right now, you can find me in a pod room in freaking San Francisco. But if you're not in San Francisco, you can follow me at Masonic Vader on PlayStation and Masonic Vader 71. Actually, on PlayStation, Masonic Vader 71 and Masonic Vader on Twitter. I think Instagram too. I don't know. Follow Malice Corpus. Follow Malice Smack Talk. Forget about me. I'll just chime in every once in a while.
Dynamite drop in.
Dynamite drop in. Boom.
Thank you.
With me,
blind here.
Running in the blind here. With me, you guys always find me at Twitter at MindFreakMLG. You can find me. Should be up in the corner, as it usually is. Find me on Instagram at just_mindfreak and right here and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BTBMindFreak with all the different gaming action that comes my way.
All right, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @abeardedmaster, as well as on Twitter at a boot to the face. Always talking wrestling. Hit me up. Let's talk wrestling. Get your comments out there. Have a little debate. I'm all good for that. I like talking about other things outside WWE on there too. So I'm not just talking about WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views. Talking New Japan, Ring of Honor, getting some Impact, and like last week after I went to the show and saw Santana Garrett wrestle Women Are Wrestling, which filmed and going to be starting showing in January for the new season. But wrestling, anything, bring it on. Let's talk. Let's do this. And that's why we're here. We're three guys who love talking wrestling. We're here every week and going to give you the best content we could possibly give you guys. So with that, Masonic Vader, you want to close it out?
Well, of course, like I always do. Hopefully our producer's ready to go. We always finish off with the 1, 2, 3. He's not there.
Ding, ding, ding.
He's not there.
There we go. Once again, small podcast at its finest. Thank you everyone for tuning in and checking us out. Thank you very much for Marty for Bearded Master for hosting tonight. Always thanks Mind Freak for coming in and giving us that comedy relief. He's the Bob Euchre of the show. Gotta love him.
Wow.
But thank you so much, guys. You have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you next week. We'll be doing Evolution pre-show and potentially be dressing up some other ways. We'll see what happens. Maybe Halloween will mix in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yep. And last thing, just want to say thank you to Vader for being our wonderful call-in guest tonight. We hope to see you again soon.
Yes, yes. I really appreciate you guys letting me call in today. I almost feel like I need to talk to Big Show now. Hey man, do you need I'm an experienced water boy, and I think I could really do well. Oh, that's great,
Yeah,
kid. How
I
old
got,
are you?
I
9,
got
10?
I got a question for Captain Insano. Captain Insano, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, kid.
You know what's fantastic about that segment? Not only do we see a Paul White, because he wasn't even the Big Show yet, he was Paul White at the time, but the announcer and the interviewer was good old Kevin Kelly, and that is fantastic. And and if you don't know this already, I know you guys are starting to get into it, not too much yet. Kevin Kelly is the main commentator for New Japan Wrestling.
He is.
So he's every pay-per-view and show that he's the commentator, and he's fantastic at it. So just some throwback Thursday information for you there.
There you
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, you guys have a good
See
night.
you guys later.
October strikes! He's back in! My God, a stunner! The pedigree, that's got to be over!